The only people who don't want to disclose the truth are people with something to hide.
So would you support this idea of doing away with the individual mandate, saying that this is just not the way to go?
And we do have an example of the individual mandate in Massachusetts. And what have we seen? We've seen costs on average go up about $2,500 for the average family. We've seen quality go down. We've seen emergency room visits go up. And then federally, we've seen at least one circuit court, the 11th Circuit Court, basically say likely unconstitutional. But more than that, when you sit down with the small business folks in Massachusetts, or indeed in the country as they anticipate 2014, they say, uncertainty. I have no idea what my costs are going to be around the bend. And so they say, I'm not going to deploy capital in the marketplace. I'm not going to hire again. And that's part of the reason that we're stuck in neutral. We're trying to kick this engine into first gear, and it's not going because of that uncertainty.
Governor, I want to take a look at the big picture here in this race. You've had a front row seat for all these debates. You know more about the candidates' positions than anyone else probably on the planet, having seen it so closely. Can Republicans screw this up? You have such a big opportunity to take on an incumbent president with unemployment, maybe a once-in-a-generation chance to beat an incumbent Democrat. Is it possible that Republicans blow this?
Of course. If we fail to focus on the truly relevant and germane issues, if we take our eyes off the 14 million who are jobless and the millions beyond that who are so dispirited they've given up, if we take our eye off the ball called debt, if we take our eye off the ball called our position in the world, continue going with, two wars simultaneously, of course we can lose it. And if we kind of begin wasting time on the nonsensical and the silly issues
Is that
like
happening?
birtherism.
Yeah.
Listen, when I see one of my colleagues, Governor Perry, who starts talking about birtherism again, I cringe. I say, as a party, if we're going to win this election, we've got to focus on the issues that are germane for the American family. That's expanding the economy, that's jobs, that's our position in the world. And when we get off on those fringe issues, we lose the independents in particular. The independents are looking for a home, and the independents largely are going to drive the outcome of the election. They hear some of that chatter, some of that nonsensical talk, and it causes them to turn and walk away, and we can't afford to have that happen.
So what is Perry doing with that? I mean, he says he doesn't want a distractive issue, right? But he won't give a definitive answer on whether or not he believes Barack Obama is an American, natural-born American citizen.
It's been settled, folks. It's been settled. The president's a citizen of the United States. I mean, how much more do we have to talk about it? Let's move on to the real issues of the day.
What is remarkable about the natural-born requirement for the President of the United States is its singularity. There's not another officer in the executive branch, in the legislative branch, or the judicial branch that requirement is imposed. It's the only office in which you are required to be a natural-born citizen. Now, why is that? Well, because the President is the chief constitutional officer of the United States. We live in an age when people think the Supreme Court is the chief constitutional officer. Oh, the court will save us. The court will impose the Constitution on us. That's not true. Justices on the United States Supreme Court, like all the executive and legislative officers, except for the president at the federal level, and all the judges and all the legislators and executives and legislators at the state level, by constitutional language, all they have is an oath to support the Constitution. The President alone has an oath written in the Constitution that requires him to swear or affirm that he would defend, preserve, and protect the Constitution. Now, why would our founders then require the President to be a natural-born citizen? Because they didn't want someone who might have a divided loyalty based upon a mother or a father being a citizen of another nation, and place that awesome responsibility of defending and protecting and preserving the Constitution. That's why it was important to our founders, and it remains important today.
The only people who don't want to disclose the truth are people with something to hide.